What's going on, y'all? I'm Czar, and in this video, we're going to look at Waves Clarity VX and Clarity VX Pro. These are noise reduction plugins that remove ambient noise from your vocal tracks using a new AI technology from Waves called neural networks. Clarity VX is a easy to use, intuitive, one knob control that is going to clean up your vocal tracks, and VX Pro offers more advanced features like multiband reduction and output level control. Let's take a closer look. So this is Clarity VX on the left and Clarity VX Pro on the right. These are the mono instances. Let's go over the controls. Starting with Clarity VX, very easy to use. You see we only have a few controls, and if you hover over each control, you'll get a listed below what that control does, and if you want to turn that off, we can just go to the menu and turn off Show Tooltips. But this first one, it will reset the neural network, which we'll talk more about in a minute. This will set the focus for the neural network. So Broad 2 is said to be better for severe ambience, keeps mostly main voices, close mic, and Broad 1 better for keeping voice detail and secondary speech. And this knob, the more you turn this up, the more processing happens. And that's it, very easy to use. And this is going to be your not VU meter, but this is going to show the processing that is going on when signal is playing through it. All right, over on VX Pro, we have more controls here, and we have the same Broad 1 and Broad 2, but we also have a Broad HF, which will maintain high frequencies in voices, reset the neural network again. And this actually, you can turn this to the left to remove voice and add more ambience. So where VX, you can just turn it up to remove ambience, Pro lets you remove ambience or add ambience or remove voice or add voice. And we go to advanced controls. We now have multiband option here. We can add restore reflections here. We can control all the processing on the bands at once. And we have a gate here as well. And on the far right, we have a output level. All right, let's look at the stereo instance of VX because it adds a little more control. So analysis singles, when you're in stereo, with the single, it's going to process the left and right channels together, and when you're in double, it's going to process them separately. And then width is, of course, your stereo width. And on the Pro side, I thought one of these was Pro. Let's see. There we go. This is the stereo instance of the Pro side. So we have left and right control over our output there and stereo width there as well. And here's the advanced controls. We got the same single double analysis here. And we also have sensitivity that we can set to normal or high. All right, so let's check out how this sounds. I'm going to give you a couple examples here. This is me speaking, and I've got my fan on in the background just to show you how VX will help remove this fan noise we got here. So we'll start with it bypassed. All right, so I've got my fan on in the background. We're going to use this to help see how well Waves Clarity VX will remove the ambient noise here. All right, let's turn this up to, for me, I usually like it at 80, but we'll start with 60 here. All right, so I've got my fan on in the background. We're going to use this to help see how well Waves Clarity VX will remove the ambient noise here. So you can see that's already starting to clean it up here. Let's move it up to 80 and see if we can completely remove this fan noise. All right, so I've got my fan on in the background. We're going to use this to help see how well Waves Clarity VX will remove the ambient noise here. All right, so you can hear that cleans it up very well. And just to go back, this is with it bypassed. All right, so I've got my fan on in the background. We're going to use and with it. All right, so I've got my fan on in the background. We're going to use this to help see how well All right, so that's just me speaking. Let's move into some more examples. So this is from an upcoming episode of my podcast, the Faders Up podcast, and this is the episode where we're discussing managing client expectations. If you want to check out my podcast, I have a link in the description. But the guest that we had on for this episode, William Bowser, was recording from his iPhone, where the rest of us had studio mics. And of course, with recording on a cell phone microphone, we're going to have a lot of background noise. So this is a great opportunity for Clarity VX to clean up this vocal. I'm going to play this and I will bypass it and unbypass it so you can hear exactly what it's doing.
I'm not going to lie. It's the reason why, it's the reason why I pay a lot of money for gear. You know what I mean? It is because I grew up on software. And in my mind, it was like, as I grew up and got older and I did more things and I made more money, it made me go, well, if the software sounds as good, let me go see what this gear sounds like. Then I go mess with the gear and I go, wow, this sounds great. But now as I get older, I realize that the software and the gear are literally the one and the same because they're just tools. You see what I'm saying? But my expectations for both are different.
All right, so you can hear Clarity VX is doing a great job of cleaning this up, especially when there are gaps when he's not talking. All right, let's move on to another example. So I've got this vocal soloed, and you'll hear that we have a lot of headphone bleed here. And I think what actually happened here was in the studio, the control room is right next to the booth, and the playback in the monitors was up really loud, and so the mic was picking it up. And we're going to use Clarity VX to clean this up. So this is with it bypassed.
Yeah.
And now with Clarity VX, I've got it up to 80.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, great job without artifacts cleaning up that headphone bleed. Let's move on to another example. Okay, so last example, this is a vocal I actually recorded today or earlier today, but so the studio that I record at it's a great studio, but it is maybe 20, 30 feet from a main road. So any fire truck, ambulance, airplane, helicopter, motorcycle, I hear it all when it passes on the street. So in this vocal take, you will hear like, I don't know, a truck or motorcycle go by here, which would have typically ruined this take. Take a listen.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
All right, so you heard that low end rumble from it. And so you may say, well, just high pass it. So let's try that. I'll pull up a Shep 73, high pass it at 80 hertz.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
All right, so we're still hearing it. So we're going to use Clarity VX. I've got it turned up to 100%, and we'll turn it on. And now let's take a listen.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
Takes care of it. Let's take a look at VX Pro on this one as well. So I've got it turned all the way up to voice.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
And then we'll dial it back to more ambience.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other. Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
So this is a good way to really isolate that ambience and hear exactly what it is. And now what I'm doing, I'm going to turn it back over to voice, but because we have multi-band capabilities in VX Pro, I'm now going to remove the processing from the high mids and high end.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other. Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
And one more time without it.
Come and just lie here with me. Concentrate on how we could love each other.
So that's Clarity VX and Clarity VX Pro, both amazing noise reduction plugins. And, as you know, really good noise reduction plugins are pretty expensive. And VX, the intro price is $29. VX Pro, the intro price is $249. Now, I think most of us will get what we need out of VX and it'll work perfectly fine for us. But if you do a lot of post-production, a lot of dialogue editing, you may find VX Pro more useful. All right, I'll have a link in the description if you want to check these out and learn more about them. And if you enjoyed this video, I appreciate a thumbs up. And if you want to continue to see content from me, then you know what to do. All right, any questions, comments, let me know, and I'll catch y'all next time. I invite you to check out my podcast, the Faders Up Podcast, a podcast about pro audio and beyond. Season 3 is now underway, and in this season, we'll be doing a lot of topics requested by listeners. So if you have a topic you want to hear discussed on the podcast, email us, DM us, or join us in our Facebook group, Faders Up Podcast, and let us know. And if you haven't checked out the podcast yet, I have a link in the description that'll take you to the page.